Good evening, everybody. I was waiting for VP Harris and Cardi B to speak in Wisconsin. So we will be tuning in and watching how Cardi B will be speaking and introducing. I assume she's introducing VP Harris, and also we're going to listen to Vice President Harris also speaking in Wisconsin. I'm monitoring it on the little screen right here. So as soon as somebody emerges and speaks, we're going to do share screen and we're going to watch it together so you don't miss out on anything and we can start with our actual news. So happy Friday. I hope you had a wonderful week or at least safe week. You're safe and sane. And this is all about actual news. We're going to talk about President Biden, of course, the Harris Walls campaign. We're going to talk about Trump's campaign and the disaster that it turns out to be. I think they're doing a very good job for Harris. They should be getting a raise. They're helping her win, and this is good. Then we're going to talk about international news. We're going to talk about Ukraine and North Korea and all what's happening in the Middle East or what's about to happen in the Middle East. So, not so much, but about an hour and some to cover. Plus, we're going to watch also the speeches together. So, I hope you're ready, and let's start. And I'm monitoring, I'm seeing, if anybody as I said, if anybody emerges, we're gonna break off and tune into the rally in Wisconsin. So, for the video of the day, I want us to watch the ad. It's Pro Harris Walls ad by Seneca Project or Seneca Project, and it's all about why is it difficult to be a girl in United States or in America, which I never even thought about, but it's so good. Take a look.
Women's suffrage is a long story of hard work and heartache crowned by victory.
And Cardi B is on the stage, so let's tune into Wisconsin and watch it. Here's
What's up, Milwaukee? How you guys doing? I'm nervous. I'm excited. What's up, y'all? One second, guys. 1 second. Okay. So I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys. I'm a little nervous. Guys. I've been waiting for this moment this whole life. My whole life. I need patience over here. Patience, where are you, girl? I need patience over here. Hold on. How you guys doing tonight? How you guys doing tonight? Are we ready to make history? Are we ready to make history? Are we ready to change these 4 years? No. Are we ready to change the next 8 years? Because we're going to make sure we have Kamala Harris in office for 8 years. Thank you. All right. Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you for having me. I do not take lightly the call to show up, the call to speak up, the call to deliver a message that's been on my heart for a hot minute now. Now, I took my time writing this speech, so I'm gonna make sure I deliver it right. Because I got something I've been wanting to say for a long time. I've been saying it on Twitter, on my Instagram, and I'm ready to tell it to you now. Y'all ready to listen? All right, now. All right. Just like Kamala Harris, I too have been the underdog. I've been underestimated. My success belittled and discredited. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Women have to work 10 times harder, perform 10 times better, and still people question us how we got to the top. They be like, how she got there? Hold on, let me warm up. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I can't stand a bully. But just like Kamala, I always stand up to one. All the time, I'm ready for him. Yeah. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I wasn't gonna vote this year. I wasn't. But Kamala Harris joining the race, she changed my mind completely. I did not have faith on any candidates until she joined the race and said the things that I wanted to hear, that I want to see next in this country. All right? I believe in every word that comes out of her mouth. She's passionate, she's compassionate, she shows empathy, and most of all, she is not delusional. Yeah. Yeah. Kamala recognized that this country is at risk, that the economy needs to get stronger, that the cost of food and the cost of living is too high. Damn, it's even high for me. I believe her when she says, under her, buying eggs and milk won't break the bank, because she's gonna pass a ban on price gouging on groceries. And she told me that in my face. So she better not lie to me in my face. Yeah. I believe her when she says she will make housing more affordable by providing Americans with $25,000 in down payment assistance. Yeah. Hold on. I got more. Yeah, she's promising a lot. And I believe her when she says she will provide a tax cut to 100 million middle-class Americans. That's a lot of Americans. And that includes $6,000 for parents in the first year of child's life. Y'all remember when they used to do that? Y'all remember when this country used to do that? Yeah. And speaking of healthcare, let's talk about it. Let's talk about healthcare. Did you hear what Donald Trump said the other day? Y'all heard what he said? All right, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me drink my water. Yeah, stay hydrated. He said he's gonna protect women whether they like it or not. He said he's gonna protect women whether they like it or not. I'm repeating it. Donnie Dunk, please. Protection for women, especially if we're talking about maternal and mental health care, isn't telling them what to do with their bodies. It's supporting them and giving them the care they need for what they choose to do with their bodies. I don't play that. People like Donald Trump don't believe women deserve rights. And when those rights are taken away, they are nowhere to be found. When a mother's going through postpartum, he's not there to hold her hand. When a child is in foster care or in a shelter because their mother is not mentally stable or financially stable to take care of them, they're not there. The people outside planning, they're not there. They're all gone. Those people outside Planned Parenthood screaming at women's faces, they don't be there when women go through stuff. They don't. And everything is possible. Shout out to the single moms out there, but it's hard. Trump says he's going to protect women whether they like it or not. Well, if his definition of protection is not the freedom of choice, if his definition of protection is making sure our daughters have fewer rights than our mothers, then I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. We all knew Trump was a hustler, but hustling women and I'm a hustler too, yeah. But hustling women out of their rights to their body is nasty work. Hustling Americans out of their hard-earned money by selling Trump watches, Trump sneakers, and Trump Bibles. By the way, the watches is $100,000. Yeah. Made in China, another country he discredited, is nasty too. Let me ask you a question. Wait, is Milwaukee in the building? Is Wisconsin in the building? Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Do we really trust this man with our economy? Our economy! A man who cares only about making himself rich and cutting taxes for his billionaire friends. I don't even get a tax cut. Today is your wallet. Tomorrow, he'll be conning you out of your healthcare rights. And that's a fact. I want you to hear that again. Today, he's hustling you with the, oh, buy my sneakers. Tomorrow is going to be your healthcare rights. He's going to take it away from you. He's going to snatch it. Donald Trump talks about how he has a concept of a plan, but America, the only concept of a plan he has is a plan to hustle you. Yeah. Because we know what he's really setting us for. He's selling more than watches and sneakers. He's selling us bigotry, misogyny, division, chaos, and confusion. He wants us to hate each other. And it's gonna cost you your money, equal opportunity, affordable health care, and any rights you thought you had for your body. He's gonna take it from you. Listen to me. He's gonna take it. Thank you, I love you too. I'm not giving Donald Trump a second chance. Nope. I'm not taking any chances with my future, and I damn sure ain't taking no chances with the future of my children. All three of them. All three of them. I'm not giving him the chance. You're not giving him the chance. Yeah. I'm with Kamala. I believe in her. And America, I believe in you to turn out on Tuesday. Turn out and turn up on Tuesday. Turn the page and let's win this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage elementary school teacher Adrian Culver. Give him a bigger shout out. I want to hear you. I want to hear you. Give him a bigger shout out.
How y'all doing, Milwaukee?
All right, that was Cardi B. Let's wait until Kamala Harris appears. What do you guys think? This was certainly something different. I like it. It was very Cardi B, and yeah, I think even Trump understood that his tax is not a good point. I like it. I like it. It's very different. Very we're gonna watch now, really in a second, J-Lo, who spoke yesterday at the rally in Las Vegas. Very different. I know people tend to compare those two, but those couldn't be more different. It's very different generations, very different delivery. Both are equally very effectful and effective in what they're doing. So very good. And certainly it is scary. It is scary to come out and start, talking and delivering a speech if you are used to being the star and people show up to watch you perform and sing, which you have been performing and singing for a long time. So, let's be real here for a little. So let's talk about, meanwhile, about the announcement or the statement that President Biden made today on the October 2024 jobs report. And I'm quoting the president. In October, unemployment was unchanged at 4.1%, but the devastation from hurricanes Helene and Milton and new strike activity lowered job growth, which is certainly very understandable. We have been dealing with the storms for a very long time. The strike, which was really avoided, because it could have stretched until the holidays. That's what has been, prognosed. But then it was over in a week, which is actually good news. Now, job growth is expected to rebound in November as our hurricane recovery and rebuilding efforts continue. In addition, I want to congratulate the leadership of the machinists and Boeing for negotiating a new contract proposal that will be voted on by union members. They have sacrificed over the years and deserve a strong contract. Now, America's economy remains strong with 16 million jobs created since President Biden took office, including an average of 180,000 jobs created each month over the last year. And just think about it, 180,000 jobs created over the last year, more than a year before the pandemic. We have the lowest average unemployment rate of any administration in 50 years. Our economy has grown more than any presidential term this century. Incomes are up $4,000 per over prices, and inflation has fallen nearly to its 2% target. I reported on it yesterday. It's currently 2.1. So let me check. I think somebody is coming up. Yes, Kamala Harris is coming up. So let's take a break from what we're discussing. Let's tune into the speech, and then I see you for good for actual news right after.
To be back. Good evening. Milwaukee, are we ready to do this? Are we ready to win? Are we ready to vote? And we will win. Oh, it's good to be back in Wisconsin and to be with so many leaders. I thank everyone here for taking the time out of your busy lives to be here this evening. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And can we please hear for Tammy Baldwin? Let's re-elect her to the United States Senate. Executive Crowley, Mayor Johnson, Cardi B, let's give it up. And can we hear it again for MC Lyte, Flo Milli, Glorilla, Keegan Michael Key? Oh, what a good night. All right, we got work to do in Milwaukee. Okay, 4 days left. 4 days left in the most consequential election of our lifetime, and we still have work to do. But here's the thing about all of us, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win. And here's one of the reasons why. Because when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. And in this election, we have an opportunity to finally turn the page on a decade of Donald Trump trying to keep us divided and afraid of each other. We are done with it. We are exhausted with it. We are turning the page. And it's because we know that's what he's about. He is constantly about trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. But that's not who we are. That's who he is. That is not who we are. And it is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next president of the United States. And Wisconsin, you know me, I'm not afraid of tough fights, obviously. For decades as a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state, I won fights. I won fights against the big banks who are ripping off homeowners. I won fights against for-profit colleges that were scamming veterans and students. I won fights against predators who abused women and children. I won fights against cartels that trafficked in guns and drugs and human beings. And I pledge to you, if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf, there is nothing that will stand in my way as I fight for you. And look, we know who Donald Trump is. This is not someone who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is increasingly unstable, obsessed with revenge. He is consumed with grievance, and the man is out for unchecked power. And look, in less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me in the Oval Office. But let's get the word out. Let's get the word out to the folks who are not here, to just have them imagine. You know, we've all seen the Oval Office on TV. Imagine on January 20th, that day, it's either going to be Donald Trump, if he is elected, which he will not be, but to help people imagine what the stakes are. It's either going to be him there on day one, walking into that office, stewing over his enemies list, or when I am elected, walking in on your behalf with my to-do list. And I'm a hard worker. And at the top of my list is bringing down the cost of living for you. That will be my focus every single day as president. I will give a middle-class tax cut to over 100 million Americans. I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries. And I will fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live. If you are caring for an elderly parent, if you are in the sandwich generation, caring for an elderly parent and young children. I will tell you, my plan will cover the cost of home care under Medicare. Because I took care of my mother when she was sick. And I know what you are doing, whether it be trying to cook something that they feel like eating, whether it be trying to help them put on a sweater, trying to find a moment where you can bring a smile to their face or make them laugh. That work is about dignity. That work is about dignity. And I'm gonna make sure you have the support and they have the support they deserve. My plan will lower the cost of childcare. Again, it's about dignity. It's about seeing the strains and the pressures. We will cut taxes for small businesses because our small businesses are the backbone of America's economy. Where are our small business owners? Let me see our small business owners. And we will lower healthcare costs, because here's where I come from on that. Look, I believe access to healthcare should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. Dignity, values about the dignity of each of us, and the responsibility of real leaders to, unlike my opponent, not think that the measure of their strength is based on who you beat down, but the true measure of strength of a leader based on who you lift up. And then you got Donald Trump, and his answer to the financial pressures you face is the same as it was the last time: another $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires and the biggest corporations. And this time he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything you buy that is imported: clothes, foods, toys, cell phones. A Trump sales tax that would cost the average American family, the economists have measured it, more than $4,000 more a year. And on top of that, Donald Trump is still trying and still wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which would throw millions of Americans off their health insurance and take us back to when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was like? Well, we are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. No. Because just like Wisconsin's motto tells us, we will move forward. Yes, we will. I love Wisconsin. And ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. And we all remember how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. They did as he intended, and now in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. And the harm we've seen. Many of those laws with no exception even for rape or incest, which is immoral. And he's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide. Yes, even here in Wisconsin. Even here in Wisconsin, it would be impacted. and he would restrict access to birth control, put IVF treatments at risk, and force states to monitor women's pregnancies. Just Google Project 2025. Just look at it. And everyone here I know understands, and let us agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to simply agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do. Not the government, not the government, not the government, not some people up in a state legislature, and certainly not Donald Trump. And I pledge to you, when Congress, together with Tammy's help, when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom nationwide, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. So, Wisconsin. Thank you. So, Wisconsin, I am asking for your vote. I am asking for your vote. And here is my pledge to you. As president, I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to the challenges you face. I am not looking to score political points. I am looking to make progress. And I pledge to listen to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make. I pledge to listen to experts, to listen to people who disagree with me. Because you see, unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table. That's what real leadership is about. That's what strong leadership is about. And I pledge to always put country above party and self, and to be a president for all Americans. All Americans. So that is my pledge to you, Wisconsin. And now I ask you a question. Who here has already voted? Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. And now I ask you to please talk to your friends and your family and your neighbors and share your perspective on why this election is so important. And for you who have not voted yet, no judgment. Let me just be clear, no judgment at all. But do get to it if you can. And for those who have not yet voted, please think about right now your plan for voting and think about where and when you will vote. And if you live here in Milwaukee, remember you can vote early now through Sunday, November 3rd. And go to iwillvote.com for all the information you need, including when and where you can vote and where to drop off your absentee ballot, because we need everyone in Wisconsin to vote. You are going to make the difference in this election. You will make the difference. You will make the difference. So listen, it all comes down to this. We are here together because we love our country. We love our country. We love our country. And when you love something, you fight for it. You fight for it. And I do believe it is one of the highest forms of patriotism, of our expression. For parents would take me to marches when I was in a stroller. And there were, at those marches, we all know, people from every walk of life coming together to fight for freedom and to fight for opportunity. You know, growing up, I saw how hard my mother worked to raise her two daughters to have the same chances that our country gave her. And I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love, right? Who instilled in me a sense of community and compassion and faith. And I've spent my life fighting for people who have been hurt and counted out, but who never stopped believing in our country that anything is possible. I have lived the promise of America. And today, I see the promise of America in everyone who is here, in all of you, in all of us. We are the promise of America. We are the promise of America. It's the fathers and mothers and grandparents who work hard every day for their children's future, in the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom, and the men who support them. It's in the Republicans who never voted for a Democrat before, but put the Constitution of the United States above party. I see the promise of America in all the young leaders that I see right now who are voting for the very first time. Raise your hand. I love Gen Z. I really do. Here's what I love about you guys. You are rightly impatient for change. I love that about you. I love that about you. You are determined to live free from gun violence. You are going to take on the climate crisis. You are going to shape the world you inherit. I know that. I know that. And here's the thing about our young leaders. None of this is theoretical for them. None of this is political for them. It's their lived experience. It's your lived experience. And I see your power. I see your power, and I am so proud of you. Can we please hear it for our first-time voters? Can we please? Yeah. And those who will be first-time voters. You know, the future of our country is so bright. We just have to see it. It's so bright. So listen, we got 4 days to get this thing done. 4 days. No one can sit on the sidelines. So let's spend the next 4 days so that when we look back on these days, we have no regrets about what we could have done. Let's know we did everything we could do. So let's knock on doors, let's text, let's call, let's reach out to family and friends and classmates and neighbors and coworkers. And here's a request that I have in that process. And while we are doing all of that, let's please be intentional about building community. Let's please be intentional about building community. You know, there's something about this whole Trump era, and it's made people feel like they have to. It's been powered by this idea that Americans should be pointing their fingers at each other, you know, and to make people feel alone and make people feel small, when we all know that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. So let's be intentional about building community and building coalitions. There is strength and power in that will be long lasting. And finally, I'll say, just remember, and let's remind everybody we know, your vote is your voice and your voice is your power. That's your power. In a democracy, that is a power that is yours. Don't let anyone take it from you. Don't let anyone take it from you. So Wisconsin, today I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
So this was our Vice President, soon to be President, Kamala Harris. I think we can all agree. This was really, I mean, I teared up seeing all this first-time voters, young folks who even forgot to do the waving situation. One girl was just like staring at her and thinking, oh my God, I could be just that. This is so inspiring. This is so wonderful. Anyway, I even grabbed the sign. I was so motivated. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now back to actual news. Before we tuned in to VP Harris's speech, we talked about the economy. We talked about the job report for October. I read out a statement from President Biden. I'm not done there. Okay. So what I want to show you is that despite all this hateful rhetoric that you've heard VP Harris referencing to Trump, right? When he says that we're a failing nation, we are a garbage can, whatever trash can, whatever the hell he's referring to as to us, and specifically our economy, because the dodo birds who support the buffoon Trump, I'm sorry, I'm running out of nice words. We're 3 days away. I know VP said 4, I counted 3, I don't know. Anyway, I'll say it as I mean it, okay? You don't like it, don't listen to it. So this is our economy here. The United States has the strongest post-pandemic recovery in the world. Real GDP recovery in G7 relative to pre-pandemic. Just look at it. We are at 11.4%. Next is Canada, 5.5. Italy, 5.5. You see France, Japan, Britain, Germany, 0%. And this is where we are. The blue one, dark blue one, in case somebody's wondering. And jobs are a huge part of it. And jobs are the result of it and the causation. So to finish off President Biden's statement, he says there is more work to do. We are working every day to lower costs for working families on rent, prescription drugs, healthcare, health insurance, and childcare. Congressional Republicans, however, are proposing a national sales tax that would cost families nearly $4,000 a year, hurt American manufacturing, and cut hundreds of thousands of jobs. You don't believe it? Listen to Mike Johnson, my least favorite. Take a look.
The former president has said that he doesn't support the CHIPS and Science Act. You voted against it. If you have a Republican majority in Congress and Trump in the White House, will you guys try to repeal that law?
I expect that we probably will, but we haven't developed that part of the agenda yet. We got to get over the election first, and that's what.
Mike, really? 800,000 jobs. You want to cut them? You want to cut the CHIPS and Science Act? Maybe you are thinking of chips and guacamole, because if you do that, you are screwing your own very much Republican states. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look at Texas. Take a look at Arizona. It's not just New York. Look at Carolina, Kansas. Cutting off CHIPS and Science Act. And he was stating that in the city where it's very much applicable to. They're opening factories. So we can what? Rely more on Taiwan pretty much giving China more leverage to play around and do some more of those military exercises around Taiwan. So we will be more nervous because we completely rely with every single piece of electronics on the goddamn Taiwan to produce the chip for it. That's why you do this? I hope there is no brain in this gentleman's head. It has ears. He's wearing glasses. You need ears to wear glasses. This we see. I hope he's clueless, because if he is not clueless, he's vicious. And whatever Christianity they're referring to, I'm Christian. I read the Bible. I've read Old Testament, New Testament. I have never seen this type of viciousness where you're going to just take away something that people rely on to survive out of their hands, so rich people can be richer and live even better, and Elon Musk can maybe build another compound for his another 500 sister wives. That's what we're going to do? That's just disgusting. Truly, truly, truly disgusting. And so let me check the comments real quick. Curse words help. Well, I can't do this. I love it when thank you, Terry. Well, but you know what? They're gonna ban us here. When we're at the watch party, you know, that's where I can talk. I love how she mentioned the tax would be so high. Yeah, that was about the Cardi B. By the way, I like Cardi B. It was very much what I liked about her speech is that she did not pretend to be somebody she isn't. It was full-blown Cardi B, and this is beautiful. Now, President Biden traveled today to talk about the pensions protections for millions amid union support efforts. So today he traveled to Philadelphia, and he announced that the Biden-Harris administration has protected over 1.2 million pensions through the American Rescue Plan's Butch Lewis Act. By the way, he awarded Life Achievement Award posthumously. His wife accepted it. This entire program is dedicated to him and named. He was one of the Teamsters, right? That's how you refer to the union. And he fought his entire life to secure the pensions. And so during the visit, President Biden highlighted measures to prevent cuts to the earned pension benefits of 29,000 United Food and Commercial workers and retirees, mainly in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. The American Rescue Plan, which received no Republican support. That's the people who care so much about the jobs, so much about the unions, that they don't even vote to protect their pensions, has safeguarded the pensions of over 65,000 folks in Pennsylvania and many more across several states. The president's announcement followed Vice President Harris's prior declaration regarding the protection of benefits for over 22,500 union workers under the Detroit Carpenters Pension Fund. Last week, Biden spoke with Pennsylvania residents Roger and Marcia Custer, sharing how his pension, which had been cut significantly in 2019, was fully restored due to the American Rescue Plan. Now, the details, the full readout is in your email. If you're not there, I know what you're doing. Get on board. honest.substack.com. It's literally called The Actual News. And you get the actual news. It's free. Join it if you decide to support. I'm very grateful for you, and just get the actual news so you know what is happening. And a big readout is on this. And so it talks about 120,000 retirees who face cuts, received an average of $1,600. And so everything that President Biden spoke about. Now, if you care about statistics, under this plan, right? So states with the most workers and retirees who have had pensions protected under the Biden-Harris administration through October 2024. Pick a state you care about, any state, Michigan, New York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and check how many pensions, really how many lives were protected. Because somebody who has worked his butt off the entire life working to get the pension then will have to face cuts and think how they're going to survive or maybe go back to work again. What kind of nations are we? Then we are indeed a failing nation. If all of that is undone, then we are a banana republic. And I'm not talking about the store with the good pants. The emails are fantastic. Oh, thank you, Kitty. Thank you. See, listen to Kitty. Get the emails and read the newsletter. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Okay. Now let's talk about VP Harris. We just listened to her, so I'm not going to have a bunch of readouts. Of course, the messages are repetitive. What do you think? She's having 4 rallies a day. Well, 3 rallies and 1 campaign event per day, every day in different states. Like, what do you think she's doing? Writing speeches right, left, and center. She's delivering her message so people can hear her. And certainly she has a bunch of engagements tomorrow. By the way, all the Governor Walz, Gwen Walz, Second Gentleman, VP Harris, everybody is working hard, attending a lot of events, highlighting a lot of events, headlining a lot of events. I'm posting the schedules every day on Twitter, so you are aware when what premieres, but also you see what type of work is being done. Also, people are knocking on doors. I watched a segment that was about the guy in Pennsylvania who himself knocked on 75,000 doors alone. And so people are so motivated to do that. And if you think about Trump's campaign, there is not such thing. Nobody's knocking on doors. Nobody's doing anything. They're completely relying on the hateful message, on this rhetoric of separation and division. So he will be, sort of directing his cult to go to the voting booth and vote for him because they're so scared of anything else. And probably they're scared of opening a door. So knocking on doors is problematic for them too. Now, speaking of cult, we had Halloween yesterday. Yeah. Check out what folks did. This is freaking insane. Folks dressed the kids. This is supposed to be Trump. I guess supposed to be Obama. And then what is it, Hillary? We will need a lot of healing. A lot of healing. Maybe whooping asses. I don't know. Don't hurt anybody, but a lot of healing. Let's call it healing. A lot of straight talk, a lot of, I think, like washing brain. I don't know, but this is not healthy. This is not okay. I can show you such pictures from, let's say, Russia, where they train little kids from kindergarten to march, like they're about to fight, and they have this fake type of like assault rifles and that type of thing, and like different tanks made of like paper and all that kind of stuff. But they are living in this dictatorship. That's what they are installed to do, right? You're little, you start understanding things. You're being trained to go against the enemy. The main enemy is always United States, and then there's Ukraine in between because they tell that in Ukraine there's Americans, right? But what are we doing here? How can we end up with such pictures? On Halloween? Really? What type of trick-or-treating is that? But let's go back to healing. And let's go to VP Harris and her campaign. And I honestly would advise you as much as I advise myself for the next days just to focus on her campaign because it brings you healing when you're listening to this, when you watch and you see the support and the true and just honest excitement. And the atmosphere is so different from Trump. Let's just focus on what's possible and let's see the light in each other, right? I also encourage you to, in the newsletter, the very low, like I think the second last video is a full interview that VP Harris did on a radio show this morning and or a couple of days ago. And she talks about prayer. And she was asked, how shall we pray for you? And she said, let's pray for us as a nation to find unity. And so listen to the interview. It's a really good one. And will bring us healing. Now, let's go to Las Vegas for a little bit. J-Lo spoke yesterday. You just heard Cardi B endorsing VP Harris, but here's J-Lo, and I just will play a clip. It's 54 seconds where she delivered. She spoke about Puerto Rico, and she is from Puerto Rico, and she spoke about us all being as Americans, right? And she spoke about the Hollywood endings where the good guy, or in this case, the good girl, wins. Take a look.
I am an American woman. I am the daughter of Guadalupe Rodriguez and David Lopez, a proud daughter and son of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rican, soy boricua carajo, and yes, I was born here, and we are Americans. I am a mother. I am a sister. I am an actor and an entertainer, and I like Hollywood endings. I like when the good guy, or in this case, the good girl, wins. And with an understanding of our past and a faith in our future, I will be casting my ballot for Kamala Harris for President of the United States proudly.
That was J-Lo. And what I mentioned, it's very different from Cardi B, but both were very effective, very true to themselves and their personality. So it was very effective. Now let's talk about Doug for a second. What is Doug doing? He's doing a lot. Now, in the final week of the race, second gentleman Doug Emhoff joined Nueva Network's El Show del Genio Lucas and Univision's El Free Guay, top national syndicated radio shows that reach millions of Latinos, where he talked about the importance of family. Vice President Harris's opportunity agenda for Latinos and encourage Latino voters to make their voices heard in this election cycle. And again, I'm posting all the plans and all the events that are planned for this weekend, also planned for Monday. And on Tuesday, I hope to announce some good news for you. I'm checking, making sure our priorities are met. And hopefully we will be then tuning in on the election day and night from the Harris Walls HQ on Tuesday. So she will be at the Howard University, her alma mater, and we're checking the infrastructure, pretty much the logistics going live, having all these possibilities to have the reports for you and also have our watch parties. Why I'm mentioning this now? I need 2 volunteers who will be sitting in our watch party and will tell me who I can text and say, I'm going to be live in 5 seconds. Tell everybody, because I have somebody who I will be interviewing. You don't have to do anything, nothing that you do normally, nor you have to have camera on or anything, just to be present. If I have 2 volunteers, please text me or PM me or message. Okay. So, because I will be from DC. Now, let's talk about Coach Walz, right? Our Governor Walz. I want to show you a clip that really motivated me this morning. I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's great. It makes me want to, get up and do something. He delivered a pep talk to all the voters in his true blue coach fashion. So take a look.
America, to turn the page on Donald Trump, it's going to take all of us. Every single one of us has got to get out there and vote. That's how we'll build a country where everyone has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead, where affordable health care is a right, where we lower housing costs, and where the government stays the hell out of your bedroom. As the next president of the United States always says, when we fight, we win. Now let's go out there and vote.
Good stuff. Now, we're going to get back to the good stuff. Let's talk about some bad stuff, because we have to talk about it because mainstream media doesn't. Now, somebody who has been fighting for our rights, whom you are following on Twitter specifically, but all around social media, who's been winning cases against MAGA for such a long time, who's very dedicated to it, is being targeted yet again by MAGA. Take a look.
Donald Trump and his allies are laying the groundwork to steal the 2024 election. Feels almost banal to say it at this point, but we should not lose sight of how shocking that statement is. We all know they're doing it right. Thankfully, some folks are working hard to prevent that outcome, including one man in particular who really drives MAGA world crazy, which is why Steve Bannon, fresh out of prison and free to wear as many shirts as he wants, went straight to his internet show and right at Mark Elias.
We're going to have, hopefully, Mike Davis and Boris Epshteyn and Bill McGinley, three of the prominent leaders in the legal effort to combat Mark Elias. Every day after the evening of November 5th is going to be Stalingrad, where Mark Elias is in court. Do you feel good about where we stand on the legal side to secure President Trump's victory as you see it right now?
Very much so. We're never going to be as good as Mark Elias, but we are so much better prepared in 2024 than we were in 2020.
Mark Elias has been fighting legal battles on behalf of Democrats, the Harris-Walz campaign. He's the founder of Democracy Docket, and he joins me now. Mark, do you feel good going into court against luminaries such as Boris Epshteyn, as Bannon just alluded to?
You know, I have to say, it is all a bit surreal. You know, I mean,
Steve Bannon
Steve Bannon just gets out of prison. You know, I erroneously said on Lawrence's show the other night that he was there for a felony. He was actually there for a misdemeanor. So I want to clarify that. But he gets out of prison, and the first thing he does is attack me. And it has been a years-long obsession by, you know, going back to him. Lou Dobbs once told Stephen Miller to pay me $500 million to stop beating them in court. Steve Bannon's been on this thing. Look, here's the deal. They hate me because I fight hard. But they also hate me because we have the facts and the law on our side. And this is not about one lawyer. It is about the law and the facts.
They were willing to give him $500 million to stop beating them in court. Do you hear that? How pathetic. And then Steve Bannon, fresh from the jail, interviews somebody, and the guy says, well, we're not as strong as Mark Elias, but we hope to be whenever. You just came out of prison. You look like you just came out of prison. You just slapped the fresh paint of the Trumpkin style, and you're back on your podcast doing exactly the same crap that got you there where you were. That's pathetic. Talking about healing. We're going to cleansing. I mean, whatever is coming up, long time overdue. That's the third election. No human body was made to survive 3 elections with Donald Trump. No. I mean, that is just really, it feels inhumane and it is sort of inhumane. Now, talking about Halloween, what did happen in Pennsylvania yesterday, I want to show you, which was ridiculous. Folks, I showed you the picture, but something even worse was presented to everybody to, I guess, witness or enjoy even in Pennsylvania. Take a look.
It was during last night's Halloween parade here on Main Street where that politically themed float turned a lot of heads. It's now getting a lot of attention online. Now the borough's mayor is trying to figure out how it was approved.
It's a hot political season. Probably not something I'd want in a children's parade.
In this video sent to Channel 11 by a viewer, you can see the float that appeared during the Mount Pleasant Halloween parade. You could see people dressed up as Secret Service surrounding a golf cart style vehicle. Riding in the cart is a person wearing a mask of former President Donald Trump. On the top of the vehicle is a fake sniper.
The worst part of it was the fact that there was either a rope or a chain that was attached to the back of the vehicle, and there was a woman who was to resemble Kamala Harris in hand.
What the hell? What is it? What kind of brain comes up with this, thinks it's a good idea, gets support by the fellas, and make it all happen? And does this, and a woman participates in this? Healing, cleansing, take some bleach, woo-woo, like burn some, like whatever, like wonderful smells that will get the juju out. Like, whoa, it's ridiculous. Incredible. I mean, like, it's fascist. Yeah, Daniel, it is fascist. By the way, I'm very happy for your mom that she got discharged. Very happy. Now, yesterday, Trump, well, this was like, I guess today, it was after midnight on the East Coast. He spoke about Cheney. Just listen to it, and then we're going to discuss it.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know.
And then in Trump's fashion, I guess it got some wind in the media, certainly not as much as this fabricated comment allegedly that President Biden called MAGA supporters trashy. He actually called the comments of the comedian trash or garbage or whatever, and it has been proven so many times. But in true fashion, what Trump does is sending an email to all the press saying that the press is, dumb, right? The fake news media's latest hoax. President Donald Trump explained Thursday night that warmongers like Liz Cheney are very quick to start wars and send other Americans to fight them with no regard for the lives lost. Then dumbasses are quoting him, literally what you just heard, and then say the press has been disgracefully covering the remarks by saying that President Trump, former President Trump, first of all, suggested that Cheney should be put in front of a firing squad. That's exactly what you just quoted. Are these reporters malicious or dumb? He was describing a combat zone. No, he wasn't. You just heard it. What type of context do you need? And he sat there with Tucker Carlson, who didn't even manage to ask one question. He said, hello, and Trump was blah, 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 that. No dancing this time because it was seated. I guess it requires less energy. And then Tucker said, and then at the end, Trump thanked Tucker. And Tucker said, thank you, and left. And Trump remains standing and doing his Teletubby dance. That was the moderated conversation. Moderated by who? Anyway. So Liz Cheney actually replied. So here's her tweet. She said, this is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom to a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant. Hashtag women will not be silenced. Hashtag vote Kamala. And that's about it. But Trump didn't leave it there. He made it worse. Now today, by adding a comment that, Cheney, we have to put her in front of a firing squad because she kills people. Take a look.
Oh, yeah, sure. She's a war hawk. She kills people. She wanted, even in my administration, she was pushing that we go to war with everybody.
Well, there's some stuff released, audio tapes from an interview with Epstein, where he spoke about, I listened to that clip in particular, there's 100 hours of those tapes, and where he spoke about Trump really making sure that everybody hates each other in his administration. So he was inciting, like, talking to Kellyanne that Bannon hates you, and talking to Bannon that she hates him. And nobody was hating, not many were hating each other, but he was playing all this politics within the White House. That's what he was, focused on. Instead of being the president of the biggest nation and the free nation, he was inciting a little ticky-tacky, little political, hateful situations within his own administration. That's what he likes. And then he was sharing a girlfriend with Epstein, but that you read it for yourself. Now, he also, in Nevada, he was at a rally, and he said that RFK Jr., from all the people, will take care of women's health if, God forbid, Trump were to win.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. we have. And he's going to work on health and women's health and all of the different reasons, because we're not really a wealthy or a healthy country.
This is RFK Jr. on passing national abortion ban. This guy was like, oh yeah, abortion, yeah, what? To quote Ron Filipkovsky, who pretty much summed it up really well. His ex-wife committed suicide after she found his diary, where he wrote in very graphic detail about 37 different affairs. He also rated his sexual encounters with numerical scale in the journal. He's not a doctor or a scientist. Sure, he should be in charge of women's health. But if you think this was sort of a one-time comment that sort of was like a slip-up, no, today they were both campaigning, and here's the conversation.
Hey guys, you said last time, President Trump, you said last time, essentially let Robert F. Kennedy Jr. do whatever he wants with health care.
Well, he's going to have a big role in health care. In fact, we just left. In fact, I think he might be here.
He's right here.
Where is he?
Will he run HHS? His views on vaccines, President?
We'll be talking about a lot of things, but he's going to have a big role in health care, a very big role. He knows it better than...
This guy, anti-vaxxer. And the hacked emails that Iran or China, whoever hacked, revealed that the job that RFK Jr. or that ex-Googler wife bought for him cost only $100,000. So the richest man, right? The very rich Trump, he sells administration positions for $100,000. Now, Chris Christie was on The View. That's what he said about Trump.
Dementia or what? What's going on?
No, I wish it were dementia. Yeah. But look, I think at some point, when you look at all the different people who defend him, they've now been reduced now to be saying, well, you can't really take everything he says literally or seriously. Well, if that's the case, why should anyone take any promises he makes literally or seriously either? You know, that is him sending a very clear message.
Yeah.
And that message is, mess with me, and I get back in charge of the government, violence is coming in your direction.
That sounds about right. I'm not a big fan of Chris Christie, but that sounds about right. Meanwhile, mainstream media is focusing on President Biden. Third day in a row. Every single channel today, from morning till night, is discussing a new report by Associated Press from all, who is getting the first question always at the press briefing at the White House because they were one of the founders of the press corps. So they are coming up with a report that the stenographer was asked by the White House to take out the word garbage, blah, 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 from President Biden's speech that he delivered on Zoom. That's the candidate who you pushed out. He stepped away. He is not running. He issued a statement. He explained the apostrophe situation. And he mentioned that he was not intending to do that. Now, the MAGAville is dressing as trash. Trump was driving the garbage truck, or not driving, seated. He was seated next to a driver of a garbage truck. They made a whole hoopla about it. He threatened, literally, Liz Cheney with a firing squad. That could be a good idea. And all you focus on is President Biden with his remarks 3 days ago. While we are 3 days before the presidential election, all you focus on is this. And then this bullshit, excuse me, with all respect, bullshit coverage of this sort of two candidates that are kind of same, right? And this came from PBS. Right, let's talk about 5 main policies of Trump with a picture of him at McDonald's, where he closed the McDonald's and did a photo op, and Kamala Harris, right? Let's compare their vision for workers. Are you freaking kidding me? Have you been there? This guy has concepts of a plan when he was asked about a plan. He was president. What he did is scrutinize everybody and take away the jobs and not providing the jobs. They're saying that VP Harris, why hasn't she done everything that she's promising? She's vice president. Get a civics class, read a book, realize that she was not in charge. Biden did a lot of good stuff. Now, the next time, next 4 years, and next other 4 years, somebody else, hopefully Harris, will do other good stuff, and she will continue with this. But we cannot afford Dignity-wise, professionally, we can't afford covering those candidates as if they were equal, because they aren't. One is fascist. Another one is a legitimate candidate. If there were a candidate against Harris, I would be loving it to cover it equally and to say, look, this is a Republican, like shit, whatever. Take the, what's his name? Anyway, take him, for instance, or Liz Cheney, right? Take them as an example. And then, okay, this is what they have. This is what Democrats have. Let's discuss, this, right? But you have somebody who's completely deranged, who's promising to sell us for $1, who loves fascism, who admires dictators who are currently, as we speak, uniting. I will have a readout on the next steps of Iran with China and Russia and North Korea. All of them are uniting. You know what Trump would do? Yes, he will exit NATO. And then don't dismiss the idea of him joining BRICS. Don't dismiss the idea. He's admiring those dictators. He has Johnson at his hand. So if we do not vote blue all up and down the ballot and take the power away or take the power back, we don't select the president and elect the president who's legitimately interested in doing the work, we will pay the price. Not Trump, we. So anyway, now MSNBC reported that not everybody thought that, it's just comments from Trump. In fact, there is an investigation. Take a look.
And Bram Resnick, the political anchor and reporter from our NBC affiliate in Phoenix, KPNX, joins us. Talk about this breaking news regarding Donald Trump's comments that he made about Liz Cheney in Arizona last night. The Attorney General is responding?
That's right. I just spoke to Attorney General Chris Mays about 2 hours ago for the taping of my Sunday show. She told me she just gotten off the phone with her criminal division chief, and she was investigating whether what Donald Trump said about Liz Cheney constituted a death threat under Arizona law. I'll tell you, under Arizona law, it is illegal to make threats or intimidate someone, can be charged as a Class 1 misdemeanor, Class 6 felony. Chris Mays.
That comes in addition to other 34 felonies if that wasn't enough for you on the menu. But I'm grateful that somebody takes it seriously. Now, Elon Musk, who was dangling $1 million and gave it to, I think, 2 people in Pennsylvania, sign up, vote this, vote that. He's under investigation in Pennsylvania. He's supposed to be in court, appearing in court on Thursday. His team frantically, was scrapping and then filed a motion to relocate the case to federal courts, which was 6 hours later dismissed. And so he has to appear in court on Monday at 10 in the morning. There will be a hearing, and the judge dismissed those requests to put it to federal courts and said, no, this is a state issue. It's going to be seen in Pennsylvania. So more on that will be on certainly Monday. Now, VP Harris joined the press for a gaggle this morning, where she highlighted the dangers of certain political rhetoric. She criticized RFK, you've heard here, stating, and who is the last person in America who should be setting healthcare policy for American families, calling his comments clearly disqualifying. She praised Liz Cheney for her courage, saying, I know Liz Cheney well enough to know she's tough, she's incredibly courageous, while labeling Trump as increasingly unstable and unhinged. Discussing America's global standing, Harris said, quote, people around the world who are fighting for freedom and opportunity hold us up. And she stressed the importance of upcoming election, quote, just consider who is going to be sitting in the Oval Office on January 20th. On early voting, she observed, I'm seeing incredible amounts of enthusiasm from first-time voters to folks that are seniors. And she added, women, men, folks of every background are showing up. Then responding to questions about pro-Gaza protests and the election, she emphasized, quote, "There's no contest in this race," unquote, when considering democracy, and expressed her belief that democracies are complicated in a wonderful way. She concluded with a comment on diversity in decision-making, stating, "I enjoy and benefit from diversity that allows me to make better decisions." Then I have some quotes from her previous rally, but we just watched one together, which I think is pretty much alike. So I don't want to overstay my welcome with you. Now, preparing for the election, Director of Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Jen Easterly, informed Foreign Policy, which is a magazine and newspaper. It was a meeting and live stream. So, informed them that foreign adversaries are likely to be most active in attempting to sow division and undermine confidence in the election between the time polls close and the results are announced. So this time is officially to be seen as the most turbulent one, because Trump will try to do his stuff. You see him, causing all this stuff with Pennsylvania votes, Colorado votes. He's talking about Georgia. For some reason, today they filed a complaint against Kamala's campaign, and the Washington Post, that didn't decide to endorse her. The Trump-Vance campaign has filed Federal Election Commission, FEC, complaint against the Washington Post for illegal in-kind contribution to Harris for president. According to reports, the Post is using its advertising powers to promote pro-Kamala and anti-Trump coverage. So Bezos did not kiss the ring when he met with Trump on the day he prohibited Washington Post to endorse Kamala Harris. Or Elon Musk is telling Trump, no, we don't need Bezos. We don't need Bezos. Let's sue the hell out of Bezos. Let's get his funds out. Let him fight. Let him fight us in court. An interesting development. Now, what they're saying, one tactic involves creating fake websites that mimic news media. So it literally looks like you are reading an article from New York Times. The buttons work, everything works, but the article was never written. It was written somewhere in Moscow or somewhere in Russia. So according to the deputy, Kate Conley, they emphasized that U.S. election infrastructure has never been more secure, despite the threats, while Conley noted that the election community is more prepared than in any prior cycle. So good news, we are prepared. Bad news, turbulence is to come. So let's consume exactly actual news. Make sure that you are, I will toot my newsletter because I really read the stuff, summarize it, put it up for you. I don't put any editorial stuff. If there you see anything in terms of my opinion, I clearly state this is my take, this is my opinion. I'm a former diplomat, so I share my opinion, my vision. This is always in cursive, so you always see what's the difference. But you have to consume actual news or you will be more anxious than needs to be. Okay, so New Jersey man pled guilty today to conspiracy involving Russian military procurement network. So Vadim Yermolenko, a dual U.S. citizen, national residing in New Jersey, has pled guilty to conspiracy charges related to Export Control Reform Act, bank fraud, and defrauding the United States. He was involved in a transnational network aimed at procuring sensitive electronics for Russian military and intelligence services. Attorney General Merrick Garland noted that this guy's actions contributed to Russia's military efforts, including smuggling sniper rifle ammunition and U.S. military-grade equipment. Yermolenko worked with Moscow-based companies which were linked to Russian intelligence, FSB, and used a complex web of shell companies to disguise their activities. And so the full readout is in the newsletter. The talk is about $12 million that he bought the ammunition, was selling to Russia, and this was intercepted by the FBI and by DOJ. And so certainly FBI is involved, Bureau of Industry and Security, IRS, among other agencies. And so detailed readout is in your newsletter. Now, And this is something I spoke about, the evil axis, so to speak, the North Korea, China, Iran, and company. And here's the question that unfortunately we have to answer. Will Iranian troops soon be fighting in Ukraine? We saw the North Koreans. I did cover it yesterday. I showed you a guy. The only North Korean guy survived out of 40 who were sent in this meat grinder first. Now, Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, who looks like a horse, I worked for UN more than 10 years, no, less than 10 years ago. He was still there. I mean, he was there and it wasn't his first year. So these guys are sticking for decades. And he was always lying every single day. So anyway, what they have announced today, yesterday, Thursday, with Iran, that they are preparing to sign a comprehensive treaty focused on strengthening defense cooperation, expected to be finalized before the end of the year. This agreement aims to enhance Russian-Iranian relations and is likely to be formalized during an upcoming visit by Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian to Moscow. Lavrov emphasized that the treaty will confirm both countries' commitment to closer defense collaboration for regional and global peace and security. What type of peace are they talking about? Although specific details and on the nature of the defense ties were not provided. This move follows a recent mutual defense treaty, literally copy-paste, which led to North Korean troops being deployed in support of Russia's efforts in Ukraine months later. So now the same agreement is with Iran. I do understand, and I mentioned it on Twitter, I'm not going to show you videos, but I do see videos from Ukrainian forces, how these North Korean guys who are not trained, they're not prepared, they're not equipped, they're sent to the front lines. There's a drone that's about to knock them all out, and they're looking at it and waving and doing all this kind of stuff. And then they wave until they can no longer wave, right? And all of them are gone in groups. And I understand that this is not really a big threat for Ukraine, but there's 2 countries fighting Ukraine in Ukraine. They're going to be soon going to be, what, 3? Before the end of the year? And Germany says North Koreans being in Ukraine, to quote Scholz in his federal government briefing yesterday, where he said to a question, he was asked a question, how does the fact that North Koreans are in Ukraine now fighting Ukraine, how does it change anything, your view on the war? And he said, absolutely not. In no way. So Germans are sitting on their balls. French are promising a lot. Nothing is delivered. Yesterday, I showed you a video of Zelensky complaining about Poland that promised MiG, long range, right? Ability to strike Russians and prevent the strikes on Ukrainian civilian and infrastructure. That did not manifest. And then he said that everything that Congress did assigned to Ukraine, right? Only 10% has been delivered ever since. So, yes, it's easy to fight North Koreans and probably Iranians because both of those leaders are those naked kings, right? Same as Trump. There's a lot of talking, a lot of the manic obsession with controlling people by force, people who are depending on this leader. It's easy to control somebody who depends for their life and with their life on you, right? And so they portray themselves as those big nations with strong armies, and then you see them and they're waving to drones. Like, you've never seen a drone? Why are you not trained what to do? Why are you even there, right? So it's okay. I mean, it's not as difficult to knock them out, but how much equipment will Ukraine need to do that? Is it really the story here? South Korea is about to join Ukraine and help Ukraine. So what, South Korea will fight North Korea in Ukraine now? I mean, it's better than for South Korea to fight them in Ukraine than in South Korea, certainly. But as they say, when 2 elephants fight, the grass is what gets destroyed. And the grass in this case is Ukraine. 50% of all the electric grid is destroyed in Ukraine. Everything that will be now renovated with US help, with the Europeans' help, it will be only 15%. People are relying on heat, electricity. They're about to face winter. Winters in Ukraine are very cold, way colder than what we experience here. At least, I can speak to New York. I'm not talking about Alaska or anything. So now a photo showed, this is in Ukrainian, but you don't have to understand the words. It's really more about the graphics. This is how many drones, those little dots, how many drones were thrown at Ukraine in just the month of October. 2,023 drones unleashed on Ukraine, at Ukraine. Now, Zelensky said, quote, "We know all the logistics between Russia and North Korea that help Russian aggression, and these logistics must be blocked. It depends, among other things, on powerful Asian states. It depends on China, which frequently talks about ending the war, yet remains an observer. And while these words are being spoken, North Korean soldiers are heading to the front. Everyone in the world who truly wants to prevent the Russian war against Ukraine from expanding and spreading beyond Europe to other regions of the world, everyone must do more than just watch. We must act. Words about the uncertainty of the escalation and expansion of the war must be matched by deeds. North Korea's involvement in this war in Europe is a threat to the entire world, a threat that must be stopped." Now, Biden administration today did announce another package from PDA, not that type of PDA. It's Presidential Drawdown Authority, which is part of the sense of the money is allocated to Ukraine to use the money to buy older military equipment from Pentagon. So Pentagon will take the money in and buy new stuff. Just explaining it in a very simple terms. So anyway, today the Department of Defense announced additional security assistance. This is the 69th tranche, but again, 10% only is delivered. So theoretically, it's great. The Presidential Drawdown Authority package, which has estimated value of $425 million. Why are they saying it this way? It's that Ukraine can now order this much from Pentagon, and Pentagon will get the money ultimately, and then replace it, right? So we're replenishing our stock, which is a very smart idea. I'm just concerned how much of that Ukraine is actually receiving. So, remember the story where President Biden said that he will ensure that Ukraine will receive everything that was allocated to Ukraine before January 20th when he leaves? Now, interestingly, today Blinken said, quote, Biden has been clear that we will utilize as much of the authority that Congress has authorized in support of Ukraine as possible before he leaves office. So now it's not full, it's as much as possible. Now, what could be the fact? Now, what could be the causation of this, right? Whatever Pentagon is sending to Ukraine, whatever Ukraine is buying essentially from Pentagon with our money. So it's not stationed in the US. It's most likely in the military bases across Europe, right? It's in certainly Bulgaria and Germany and Poland, right? What I see is those countries are preparing to fight Russia eventually, and they're holding onto that. That could be concluded from, like almost writing an article, could be concluded from the comments that Zelensky said yesterday about the MiGs, right? What he wanted to get from Poland, and Poland said, we don't have our own, we're getting it from NATO, so we want to replace it before we give anything to you, because if Russians are standing at our doorstep, then what are we going to do? Fight them with angry thoughts? So for that reason, I mean, another understanding is knock Russians out in Ukraine so they will not be at your doorstep to begin with. But I think this is the thought that prohibits the nations to give what Ukraine needs to receive. And so, Pentagon is scrambling pretty much. That's what I see. But again, this is my 2 cents. And this is, again, my take. What I'm reading out, those are the facts. That's what's being said. I'm trying to explain the thought behind it. Zelensky also issued a statement today on Twitter. He says he called for allies to directly Zelensky calls out allies directly for forbidding Ukraine from defending itself while North Korea enters the war. Quote, "We know where these North Korean troops are gathering in Russia. We could act preemptively if we had the means, long-range capability. Yet America, the UK, and Germany watch," unquote. And that pretty much describes everything that I just said. Now, Sergei Kislitsa, which is the ambassador of Ukraine to the UN, delivered a very powerful speech to the Security Council today at the UN. I will play just a clip of it, but it pretty much describes everything in color. Take a look.
We have heard now and then that Russia would never cross this or that red line of the civilized world. But open your eyes. Russia is not crossing your red lines. Russia is walking down a red carpet, a carpet woven from weak responses, unfounded hopes, and complacency. In truth, it is not even a red carpet, but a river of blood, one that began flowing the moment Russia was given the Soviet seat in the chamber in 1991. Do I need to remind anyone whose blood flows in this river?
And just to think about it, right? There was USSR that entered UN and certainly Security Council. That fell apart. Why is Russia there headlining? Russia is not the remainder of USSR. All the countries are. And when they say, well, we fought in the Second World War, Ukraine did fight, and Belarus and Moldova, and like all USSR. What are you talking about? You fought. If we actually dig into it, Ukraine fought kind of a lot, a bit more. So anyway, now remember Trump was saying they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Who is eating the dogs turns out to be Russians. They do eat the dogs, actually. Take a look. They got canned food from North Korea. The guy is speaking Russian here. He says, oh, I don't know what it is. I can't translate it. And he proceeds to try it. And then he says, oh, it tastes like something between chicken and beef. And then he realizes it's actually dogs. Take a look. I'm not going to dive into graphics. Just take a look.
Всем добрый вечер. Хочу поделиться такой новостью. Угостили сегодня такой баночкой наши друзья. Я уже открыл одну. Не знаю, что за мясо. Нет перевода, но хочу показать, как она выглядит, потому что у нас такого нету. Сейчас. А ну, подержи. Вот так. Какой-то лавровый листик. Ага, немножко беловатый, да? Ага.
Poor dogs. It takes basic Google search, what I did, to translate what's written on this can. Pretty sure it's a dog. Anyway, Ukraine was Detroit and Cleveland and even more than this. I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on to now Israel. I understand Secretary Blinken did the whole tour, right? He covered everything from Iran to, not Iran, Israel and Palestine, and he went everywhere and met with Saudis and Kuwait and everybody. So, but ultimately, it doesn't seem to have produced a lot of result in terms of releasing the tensions between Israel and Iran. So, Israeli airstrikes targeting Hezbollah positions in eastern Lebanese city of Baalbek have led to evacuations of over 20,000 residents who are fleeing to a nearby town of Deir al-Ahmar. These strikes occur as discussions about a potential ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, which is backed up by Iran, continue. In response to Israel's actions, 3 Iranian officials, including a top commander of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, have indicated that Iran will retaliate against the strikes on its military facilities. Now, in addition, it comes from Israeli intelligence, suggests that Iran may be planning an attack on Israel from Iraqi territory in the coming days, potentially before the U.S. presidential election. Tensions between Israel and Iran have escalated in recent weeks by using pro-Iranian militias in Iraq and Iraq for the attack rather than launching it directly from Iran. Iran may be attempting to mitigate the risk of another Israeli strike on its strategic targets. Then, hours later, recently, Pentagon has issued a statement. Now, this tells you everything you need to know that something is coming up. In keeping, I'm quoting, in keeping with our commitments to the protection of U.S. citizens and forces in the Middle East, the defense of Israel, and de-escalation through deterrence and diplomacy, the Secretary of Defense ordered the deployment of additional ballistic missile defense destroyers, fighter squadron and tanker aircraft, and several U.S. Air Force B-52 long-range strike bombers to the region. These forces will begin to arrive in coming months as the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group prepares to depart. Now, usually they say month, and then something happens. They're like, oh, they were already there. So if it's a war, nobody's announcing what's going to happen in a few months because they're going to be knocked out on the way there. So let's think smart here about this statement. Now, this deployment's built on the recent decision to deploy Terminal High Altitude Area Defense missile defense system to Israel, as well as DoD's Sustained Ambitious Ready Group Marine unit posture in the Eastern Mediterranean. These movements demonstrate the flexible nature of U.S. global defense posture and U.S. capability to deploy worldwide on short notice to meet evolving national security threats. This is the key here, to deploy worldwide on short notice. Short notice tells you it's not month. So Secretary Austin continues to make clear that should Iran, its partners, or its proxies use this moment to target American personnel or interests in the region, the United States will take every measure necessary to defend our people. So for that reason, if it's before the election, it really could be this weekend. So let's see. I'm just stating the facts and what everybody says. Now, lastly, remember the town hall I posted about that they were casting people to ask questions and be there, moderated by Cuomo, and there should be the Stephen A. Smith from All the People, Mark Cuban, Tulsi, and all that kind of stuff. I have a clip on how it went. Dana White was there too. Take a look.
Dana, love you. You're so wrong. Trump, inflation was up 25% over the Obama economy he inherited. Ask him about Yemen, where he decided not to take action and allowed 100,000 people to keep on dying in Yemen. Talk to him about his tariffs. What worked with his tariffs? He had 4 years to make tariffs work with China. China kicked his ass. China took him to court, right? Because he didn't know how tariffs worked, and it hurt the economy. The economy was rolling along, and it got so hit by the tariffs that his appointment to the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, had to come back in and cut interest rates 3 times. And then we get to the real point of reckoning, the pandemic. And what does he do? He says, if we don't test people, the viruses didn't really happen. He holds back on resources, except for Vladimir Putin, to keep people from getting healthy. That is not an accomplished president, Dana. He has not done anything. What he got, he inherited. But you know what?
Right,
his administration was the same.
That's a good town hall. That's a good town hall. Also at the White House today, President Biden and First Lady honored Dia de los Muertos at the White House. Take a look. On this note, I'm done. It's been, we watched the rally together, we watched the speeches together. I hope the actual news were useful to you. I'm playing with the idea to start from Monday on to have a quick recap, not this long as it is now, but about 20-30 minutes of news in the morning. So those who are not able to listen to like an hour plus live streams every night, or perhaps you miss it, you go somewhere, right? Because we're going to be out at some point, and holidays are coming, so you can wake up and have quick news that you can tune in and watch on demand or live. So I'm playing with the idea, have to see if I can certainly commit to it. But Tuesday will be our election day coverage throughout the day, also from DC, from here. So watch parties, please RSVP. All the RSVPs are for those who are signed up for the newsletters, just to ensure you don't have to pay, but it's just to ensure that we have like-minded people, because we had certain situations where it was kind of flaky. We want to protect the comments and just protect our safety there. So you want to spend time with like-minded people, and that's a way to sort of ensure that that really happens. So please join honest.substack.com. Please like it, share it. If you can retweet this, I would be very grateful. Retweet this video, and you're on YouTube, subscribe, whatever you need to do. And I'm very grateful for your support, and I'm looking forward to the coverage. So I usually don't go live on the weekend. If something happens and I feel like we need to discuss it, I'll be live, and I will be posting about it on Twitter and socials beforehand. Also, I started posting on TikTok, Honest Press and Honest Network. Please follow Instagram as well. So just trying to use other platforms in case on Twitter I will be hidden or whatever, gone from Twitter at some point, because I feel that to the report, right? The turbulence will come after the election. So I feel that Musk will do the most. And certainly that could include banning me. Okay. So on this note, thank you for being here. What a great idea. Oh, about the morning thing. Thank you. I will ask. Hey, Chinetta, hey. Good idea, 30-minute daytime recap. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking in the morning, because morning news is what actually happened last night, and an outlook what's going to happen today. So, for instance, Monday could be, through the weekend, this and this happened. Now, today, expect this type of rallies, whatever. We're getting ready for the election. So 20-30 minutes, because that's what people have in terms of like commute or when you put your makeup or whatever. So that's sort of my idea, because every night 2 hours, I don't think everybody has it. It's X now. Well, I call it shitter. I don't even call it Twitter. I call it shitter. Yes, but thank you. I'm aware. Yeah, so that's my thought. And then evening is where we are, reading comments. I'm engaging with you, so you can ask questions, sort of like our happy hour type of thing, or not so happy, depending on the news. And then in the morning, we can have like quick things so everybody is informed. I think it's important after the election, because there will be so much legal shit show happening, and just to know what's true, what's not. So you don't go through the day trying to gather news everywhere and everybody is clickbaiting. So that's the idea. Okay. All right. Have a good night. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay sane. Turn out from the politics. Vote. Go vote. Vote for those two if you can. Please get it done. Get it done. Please get it done. I beg you, get it done. And we see each other on Monday or before. Have a good night.